People think only Bitcoin is the answer. Is it because it was the first?
Ask Preston. Uh, because they're conflating, this is my opinion, and again, I'm not trying to upset people, they're conflating money with value. Bitcoin is a monetary system, essentially, and it's not at the money stage yet, but it's a store of value, it is a collateral asset, it's all of these things that I've talked about. And there's a potential that it could become a form of money once the volatility goes down and adoption is massive. That's the Bitcoin maximalist argument. I have no problem with that. But money is not the only transfer of value. Other things have value. You know, if things didn't have value, then nobody would buy art or classic cars or equities or anything. They would just hold the dollar because that's money. It's not. Other things have value and they will outperform the value of Bitcoin and they will underperform the value of Bitcoin. And that's just how the world works. We talked about investments, underperforming, outperforming all through this interview. That is what will happen. And this is the internet of value that's being built. It's the exchange, ownership, storage, creation, earning of value. That's miles bigger than people are really thinking. And they're saying it can all be built on Bitcoin. Sure. Will it be? No chance. Will Bitcoin be money? Possibly. Will it be an important part of our financial future? Almost definitely. So there's probabilities embedded in this, right? And for people to say, you've got zero chance, you're an idiot because you're buying Ethereum or whatever it is more wrong than the person buying it, because they're ascribing zero chance, a zero probability. And when you push them, they say, well, you know, those things, they all trend towards zero, right? I've gone through, written a whole rebuttal about the John Pfeffer article and the fact that utility tokens don't have value and only Bitcoin has value. It's not true. It's provable that network effects is how you value these things. Bitcoin is only valued on network effects. It's not valued by any other mechanism. Same with Ethereum, it's identical in how it's valued, and so are all of these. And that's a shock to people because they don't want to believe it. Because the Bitcoin believers are becoming like gold believers. There can only be one. Gold is the real money. Now it's Bitcoin. Last time I checked, gold's been around for 10,000 years. There have been loads of other forms of money that have tried to compete with it or have competed with it. And there's been loads of stores of value, millions of them. If not, there would be no real estate. So it's absurd.
One of the most common concerns I see from investors about crypto is the worry of government regulation. And I read recently a headline that Ray Dalio even said that he wouldn't be surprised if the government outlawed it. What role do you see the government playing in the world of crypto? And in your opinion, is it possible for the government to really outlaw it?
I don't think they're going to. I think it's in everybody's interest to have an independent financial asset, like gold has been. I think it's in everybody's interest. Everybody knows we've pretty much got a broken financial system. Bitcoin plays a very important role within that, and I think it'll play an even more important role. It keeps governments honest, it keeps people honest, it gives people an ability to save money outside of just the interest rates or whatever that the government offer you. It's no riskier or less risky than owning equities. I don't think it's a problem. I think they will regulate our involvement with it, meaning they don't want you to not pay tax. Regardless of what you think you should be doing with tax, you actually live in a country where you democratically vote, and part of that system is a tax-based system. In fact, every society in the history of mankind is a tax-based society. And if you don't pay your taxes, then what they say is you should no longer be a member of society, i.e. you go to jail, because that's the point of organized societies. So if you want to not pay taxes, you can move to the Cayman Islands. We do pay tax, we pay import duty, and we pay a bunch of other stuff, but we don't pay income tax. Everyone pays their share to a government, or if not, society doesn't function. So they will make sure that you pay your fair share. If they try and excessively penalize it, 100% capital gains tax on crypto, well, then you'll force it offshore and force it underground, and it'll create more problems. So I think they know it. But all that all the noise I get is they just want to try and regulate it so it fits in with their own system. So they want the on-ramps and off-ramps. The ECB, I can see, are trying to slow adoption by driving this ESG narrative. Bitcoin's expensive. We never look at anything. Nobody goes, oh, Raoul, your microphone, I don't know why you've got that one. I mean, that costs this much in energy, and the energy came from some power plant in northern China. Nobody cares. The whole world is moving to cleaner energy. Bitcoin is one of the things, but the ECB have used it. Why? Because the institutions have a legal mandate for ESG. So it's going to slow them down in adopting it. That's all that's going on, the slowdown, I think. And that's fine. I understand why.
A bit of a fun question. I know there's no definitive answer to this, but what are your thoughts on Satoshi Nakamoto? Is it one person, group of people? Will we ever even know?
Now we're just in conspiracy world, right? So my conspiracy theory, which I've held since day one, is when you look at the language, it's transatlantic. I've always thought that it came out of GCHQ in the UK and the NSA in the US. I've always thought it came out of government. I've had conversations over my years with several members of the state security infrastructure in the United States. They know everything about all of this. They understand its place. They understand that the financial system is also the Achilles heel of the global world. The other risk they understand is China. They don't not understand the risk of China. They understand this stuff, and they have huge teams of people working on outcome analysis. And I've spoken to them at length in the past about, the financial system's problems. And when you've got the smartest cryptographers in the world working for both the UK and the US, then it's not absurd to think a small group gets given an opportunity to say, hey, listen, if you could design a different system, what would it be? Because we are going to migrate across to that system and it will have worked. So that's my view. Could be 100% wrong. But my view is it was kind of built as a plan B purposely.
Does Bitcoin change or the world of crypto change at all if we ever find out who it is? And it is, in fact, a government?
No, because they don't control it. The only problem is the outstanding coins, right? But that's just a money supply issue. Somebody could push down the price for a while. Okay, fine. I don't know how much they're worth now, 40 billion. I mean, Christ, it's not that big. You could probably sell that to the government of Singapore and investment fund in one transaction. So, these aren't, that's not the end of the world. But it would upset people if that were the case. So I think people would much prefer the narrative of mysterious person, gifted it to the world, could have been Hal Finney, he's dead now, we'll never know.